One of the more controversial things he said to the graduating class that you have to be 10 times as good to get a fair shot in America. You agree with that?
I don't know if it's 10 times better, but maybe 5.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
You think you have to be 5 times?
Yeah, when you black in America, absolutely.
In 2024?
Yeah, when you're black in America, when you're a woman in America, if you're a black woman in America, absolutely.
I think that's a zombie lie.
Why?
Because I just don't think that's America anymore.
That's political commentator and pressure valve for the left, Bill Maher, pushing back on Charlamagne the God's claim that black people have to work 5 times as hard to get anything in America today. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish. And contrary to DIE initiatives and affirmative action completely sidestepping meritocracy and college admissions in the workplace, it looks like some members of grievance groups are still pushing the tired idea that they have to work harder to get the same results. For example, multi-millionaire podcast hosts who think WNBA player Caitlin Clark is only popular because she's white.
But you don't think it's a problem that this young woman, there's so many examples where, I mean, black people are very marketable.
Well, ask yourself
and
this.
She seems to have been indoctrinated into this. They don't see it as marketable, so it doesn't matter how hard I work.
Well,
I don't think that's accurate or healthy. I mean, when people come into the league and they're like the biggest thing in college, isn't that a big deal?
No, because Asia Wilson was the biggest thing when she came out of South Carolina. That's where I'm from. So she was one of the biggest things when she came out of South Carolina, #1 draft pick. And she didn't get all of that. So what do you attribute that to?
I mean, you're saying that's racism.
No, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm just saying that I think Asia Wilson has a point. And I think sometimes when, black women say certain things, we should listen, and especially her, because I'm not in her shoes.
I don't know. But why was Serena Williams such a big star? Because people like that. They didn't not watch her because she was black, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So where are we with this?
I don't know. I'm just sitting back observing the conversation, but I do think...
Well, you're in the conversation. What do you mean?
I'm not a woman. I'm not.
You're in this conversation.
Well, there you go. If a discrepancy exists, it must be due to prejudice and racism. That's the most obvious reason. There's no other possible explanation. I mean, that idiotic narrative couldn't have anything to do with establishment media, academics, and culture in general pushing divisive race politics nonstop for the past 10 years. Speaking of which, here's the ladies on The View saying the exact same talking points and then defending on air the physical attacks Caitlin Clark's been receiving.
There is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so part of it is about race, because if you think about the Brittany Griners of the world, why did she have to go to play in Russia?
Because they wouldn't pay her.
Because they wouldn't pay her. But I do think that she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive. And unfortunately, there still is that stigma against the LGBTQ plus community. 70% of the WNBA is black. A third of the players are in the LGBTQ plus community. And we have to do something about that stigma in this country. I think that people have a problem with basketball playing women that are lesbians. Who cares? They are great athletes.
Well, let's be realistic, okay? This is basketball, okay? This happens in basketball all the time. That's what the game is. So a lot of people, however, are reading this as confrontation. But this is not... No. They're not playing on the court. They're there to win. Oh. And just because they're women, get over yourselves. Yeah. They're athletes.
They're athletes. And I love that you say that, right? And what I love is that it is a contact sport.
Yeah.
And it's not dainty play.
In some ways, I can't even fully blame people for pushing this narrative all the time, because it's only natural to respond to incentives, and it's a certainly easier solution than facing reality. The real problem here is people blindly giving this idea power by not pushing back like Bill Maher did. You don't have to be rude or mean about it, you don't have to call them liars, but you don't have to blindly accept it either. Because at the end of the day, the only people this helps are the ones in power. It makes minorities feel like helpless victims who have the cards stacked against them, and it makes everyone else feel guilty or resentful. Which again, is probably why it's being pushed so hard in the media. But let me know what you think. Is there any truth to what Sunny Hostin and Charlamagne said? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please get a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!